Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So I'm sure if you ever go to Dollar Tree you've seen their crochet kits. They have these little itty bitty crochet amigurumi kits and they are beautiful little tiny animals. But the problem is that on all of these crochet kits the pattern is different than a regular crochet. Let me show you. So for example, on this cute little mouse right here, the pattern looks like this. And especially if you're just a beginner, it's really hard to keep track of and everything. So the other day while I was at Dollar Tree, I came across some new crochet kits. And from what I could see through the back side of the packaging, it looks like they rewrote the patterns. So let's go ahead and open them up and see how it goes and maybe crochet them up. Got two of them. They had a lot of different styles. I got this little donut and this dinosaur. So let's go ahead and start with the donut. So everything that you get in one of these kits is the stuffing, which I don't know if that's enough stuffing. It might expand or something. And then you get a little plastic bag with all of the things that you need in it. It has some safety eyes, a little bit of embroidery floss, and a needle. Then you get all of your yarn. It has some light pink, some dark pink, and some brown, which looks like the picture. It looks pretty much like the picture. I would say the brown is a little bit darker in real life, but we'll see how it goes. And then the part that I've never liked about these crochet kits, and they still haven't fixed, is these crochet hooks. So number one, the size is really hard to see. You can't even see it on camera. It's a 3.5mm crochet hook, and it is super bendable. As you can see, it's just bending. So what I think I'll do is I'll use one of my crochet hooks with a handle. This looks like a clover amour. It is not a clover amour. I got it off of Temu, but it works perfectly fine. So last but not least, this is what I'm really excited about, is seeing if they fixed the patterns. As you can see right now, they have some pictures of how to assemble it, which is really good because in the old patterns, these were the instructions for the assembly. And it's not very detailed, especially if a beginner found this at a Dollar Tree. And that's what I'm worried about, is if beginners go to Dollar Tree and they're like, oh, that's cute, I want to try that. And then they get it, they can't read the pattern, they can't figure out what's going on, and they give up on crochet. So I don't want that to happen. So hopefully Dollar Trees fix this problem. Let's open it up to the pattern and see how it looks. So it shows you how to do all of the different stitches here at the top. And it looks like it's pretty detailed. 22 on each chain. Alright, they actually wrote out the pattern, which is amazing. And even though it is a little eensy bit confusing, it doesn't look bad right now. It looks 100 times better than the other. So now I'm going to go ahead and get started on making this because why not? We'll see how it goes, and I will test out and see if they got all of the stitch count correctly, if it is easy for me to understand, and I'll come back to y'all once I'm probably halfway done, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so another thing that I feel would be good for them to include in their crochet kits would be a stitch marker. They sell them at Dollar Tree, so it wouldn't be that hard for the manufacturers just to put one in the package with them. But I have one at home, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. So, yeah, back to work. Alright, so I'm coming back on because I just finished the brown part of the donut, as you can see right here. I think it turned out this is how much yarn we have left over from it, and I wouldn't call myself a tight crocheter, but I do use a pretty even, slightly tighter tension than most crocheters use, so I would say that they should probably include more yarn in these kits, because if you have loose tension, you're going to run out of yarn very quickly. So I would do that. And another thing while we're talking about the yarn is it's fine. It's a fine yarn, but it splits very easily, and that is very frustrating for beginners, especially when they're crocheting, is when their yarn splits, they get frustrated with themselves and their work and think that they're not doing it right, and that's completely not true. So yep, I finished that part. Other than that, the pattern seems pretty fine. I'm going to do the pink one real quick, and then we'll sew it together and see how all that goes. So I just finished the top of it, the pink part. This is how much yarn I have left over. It's definitely more than I had from the brown. I did find an error the second time through. They have their stitch count off on row 3. So on row 2, the stitch count goes up to 33, and then on row 3, the stitch count is supposed to go up to 44, but it stays at 33. So that's another thing wrong with it. So now I'm going to sew it together. Alrighty, so I just finished the little donut, and before I show it to you, I have a few notes about all of the stuff that came with it. First of all, this little sewing needle, it worked very well, but the only thing I didn't like about it is it bent super easily, so it was kind of hard to get it in and out, but I feel like it worked very well. Next, they did give me the perfect amount of embroidery thread for the mouth. This is how much I had left over in the end, and they gave me more than enough of the pink for the sprinkles, so that's great. As for the stuffing, they gave me the exact amount that I needed, and I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of the stuffing. It feels a lot like the stuffing that's inside of Squishmallows. If you've ever had a Squishmallow tear, or you've ever felt the stuffing from the Squishmallows, you know what I mean. And I really liked the stuffing. The instructions for sewing it together, I was excited about them in the beginning, right here. It took me a few minutes to figure out how to actually do it, because they don't actually tell you how to. They give you vague instructions and expect you to do it. So I'm hopefully going to make this again sometime with my regular yarn, or even a chenille yarn. And when I do, I'll write down what I do as the instructions so I don't forget in the future. but I was able to find a YouTube video that explained everything perfectly. So if you ever struggle with that, that's how you know. Last thing, this is pretty big for me. The safety eyes that they put with the pattern are great, but the backs of the safety eyes are too big for them, so they slide off super easily, and I don't like that. I feel like the safety eye needs to have a firm back on it. I did melt the back of my safety eyes so it kind of held everything together a little bit better, but that's just something that I didn't completely like about it. Other than that, this pattern and this kit has a lot wrong with it, but it is so much better than the original cheap ones that they have had before. The only thing is, if you are a beginner, please don't try this until you make sure you know how to do everything, you know how to get past mistakes that are in patterns, and you're comfortable with crochet. So this is not a beginner kit. If you want some good beginner patterns, there are so many different places online where you can get free crochet patterns. Just don't get one of these, not be able to do it well, or think that you're messing up when it's actually the pattern and want to quit. Give it another chance if you have started with this kit. So now I'm going to show you how it looks like, and I really like it. I will be trying it with, like I said, my regular acrylic yarn or chenille yarn, because I am very curious to see how it would turn out. But this is my donut. I really like it. I made a few mistakes in the pattern like any other human being would, but I was really trying to follow the pattern completely, and when they made mistakes, I would make mistakes and then realize it after I made the mistakes. But I think it turned out super cute, and it is a small donut size. I really like it, and I think it's really cute. I'm going to modify the pattern to where I can read it better, rewrite it in my book so I can refer to it better. But other than that, it's a cute donut for $1.25. What can you expect? I'm not gonna lie, it's actually been a couple weeks since I filmed the last section of the video, but better late than never, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and start making this cute little dinosaur here and test it out and see how it goes. Also, while under my bed the other day, I found an absolute ton of the old kits, and later I will open one and walk you through why they're not very good. And I'm also going to hopefully be showing you how you can decode those too, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, so let's open it up. So just like the last one, we have the stuffing, we got the instructions, which are written in the correct format. We have the little package of supplies here, and then we have the 2 colors of yarn. So we'll see how it goes. Let's get started. Yet again, they have the very cheap plastic hook, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my 3.5mm hook to use for this with the handle, because this one, as you can see, it bends super easily. So I'm going to put on some YouTube and start work on this. Alright, so a couple notes while I'm working on this pattern. The way that they have written, I don't remember what I did for the donut because that was a couple weeks ago. I think I did do it by slip stitching and chaining one, but on this pattern where they have me slip stitch and chain one, I'm just doing the working in the round method, because whenever I have tried in the past to do slip stitching chain one, it always looks bad on the finished plushie. It gives it this weird effect where it has this line running up the plushie, and it does that on crocheted wearables and bags too. So I try to avoid that whenever I can and just work in the round, and it's not impeding my crochet at all on any of this, so that's good. Also, this time I am working on the body and I have not found a mistake yet, which is awesome. I will say though that this little tiny dinosaur has a lot of sewing involved. I think it's just 3 spikes, but it also has 4 legs, and then you have to sew the body and the head together, so that's going to take a lot of sewing. But I, for one, do not mind at all doing sewing on a plushie, because I feel like the more sewing that you have to do, the more detailed it comes out in the end. That is an unpopular opinion right now, because the no-sew crochet is taking the crochet world by storm. And I do like those projects, it's just I prefer detailed plushies. That's just me. Let me know what y'all think below. I'm gonna keep working on this. I almost have the body done, and then it should be smooth sailing to make everything else. Another thing though, in the pictures, I highly doubt that they're using the same yarn that I am, because it looks super smooth in the pictures, the yarn. And this yarn, I don't know if you can tell, but it's not very smooth. It splits easily. You can probably tell better on the purple. But it's a really cheap yarn, and it feels plasticky. So if I ever make this pattern again, I am looking forward to using a bigger, nicer yarn, because this, even though I'm sure that it is a number 4 worsted weight, or at least advertised a number 4 worsted weight, it feels and stretches when you crochet it out to a number 3 or 2. So this is what it looks like in the beginning, and then when you stretch it to crochet, it goes like that. So that's just my general observations about this pattern. I will get back to you at the end of this and let you know what I think overall. So I have the head, the body, and all 4 legs done. Now all I have to do is make the dinosaur's horns or spikes, and I only have to make 3 of these, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this and get it over with, because I am done with this. So I just took the purple apart. They had it knotted, and if you crochet with hand-dyed yarn, you know what this looks like. So I'm gonna do something real quick just to satisfy my curiosity. That's cute. Anyway, I've got to get to work on this. Can't play anymore. Done. Alright, so I just finished the 3 little spikes, and now I'm gonna sew it together. In case you're wondering, this is how much I had left of the purple, and this is how much I had left of the yellow. Yet again, I think I mentioned this while making the donut, I feel like they should include more yarn in it, because different people with different tensions crochet differently, especially if they wanted to use a bigger hook size than 3.5 millimeters. So that's something I would recommend, but I'm just going to sew it together now and see how that goes. I'm actually going to time myself to see how long it will take me to sew everything together. So I'm going to pull up a stopwatch and see how long it takes. Starting now. Alrighty, so I just finished, and actually, I love it. If you're a more experienced crocheter and you see this at Dollar Tree, this one right here, I would get it. It took a while. Honestly, I think it was worth it. So, my final thoughts on these little crochet kits is the old ones are terrible. Don't get the old ones, and let me show you why. I think I might have already showed this, but instead of a written pattern like 6 single crochet and a magic ring and crease, they have these little charts, and you can read them. There's even videos to help you learn how to read them, but if I want to sit down and crochet something, I want to have a clear pattern. I don't want to spend an hour decoding the pattern before I make the pattern. So logically, all of these mini crochet kits that I will be either using the yarn as scrap, or I will be making up the pattern myself, because these are simple shapes and I feel like I could do it myself. Dollar Tree has definitely stepped up their game on their patterns, and this is super cute. I love this. It's definitely not a quick pattern to make. I think this took me about an hour to do, hour and 15 minutes. But I think it's cute, and the donut turned out pretty cute too, and I have a lot of the different little crochet patterns, and let me show you some. So the other day when I was starting this video, I wanted to show you a kit that I got from Dollar Tree way before I got these kits, and I couldn't find it, and then I realized that I had one drawer in my closet that I hadn't been in since December, and it was completely empty except for a couple skeins of yarn and this crochet kit right here, which also came from Dollar Tree. It's this DIY crochet kit, and let me show you why this is the superior crochet kit. First of all, the packaging is amazing. Now, the yarn, I will say the yarn is the same as yarn as this, so it's still the cheap yarn, but got written instructions with all sorts of pictures, and something that I was super excited about was they included an aluminum crochet hook that does not bend, and it's the correct size for the pattern, which is super cool. But that's not it. Let me show you one more thing. They include a stitch marker. I have not seen this in Dollar Tree since, this particular style of kits, but I feel like if Dollar Tree would combine the little amigurumi kits in this format with the stitch marker and the actual aluminum hook, it would be the perfect combination, and I would buy them. So those are my final thoughts on the patterns. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If so, please give a like and let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. I'm leaning towards the dinosaur, although the donut is super cute, and I'll be giving it to my friend for just because gift. So I will see y'all next time. Bye!